Hey fashion friends! Today we will be talking about fashion illustration. You may be like, what? Why would we do that? Because fashion illustration is an important step in the fashion design process. I would say it's a bridge between fashion designer's idea in his head and the team's realization of this idea. So it's a way for the designer to showcase what he is thinking of the new collection or the new garment, so the design team can know what to do. That's why today I thought, why won't we just break down some of the most famous fashion designers' illustration techniques, drawing styles, so you have an idea how different Christian Dior's drawing were from Alexander McQueen's drawing, or how different Sir Valentino was drawing from Christian Lacroix. I'm just giving you some spoilers here. If you stick around and watch, I promise you will learn something new and it will not be boring. So stick around. I will quickly just show you 4 different fashion illustration techniques that are used the most often by the designers. So number 1 are hand-drawn flats, which are basically the easiest way to showcase the idea to the design team. Usually the designer uses templates which already have prepared like a body or a model, so he doesn't have to worry about drawing perfect proportions. He can just quickly sketch a jacket or pants or a whole outfit without worrying about drawing the body. Every designer should know how to draw flats to create a quick project for a client or something to show to the team. They are usually then passed on to the tech designer and the pattern maker, and the whole creation of the garment can start. Number 2 is basically the same thing, just in a vector program. So they are Adobe Illustrator flats. They are made on a graphic design tool called Adobe Illustrator, which some of you might be familiar with. I'm currently learning how to use Adobe Illustrator. I love it. I absolutely love it. It's a great program. I recommend it to everyone. So the Adobe Illustrator flats are technical drawings of front and back of the garment, which is being designed. You can see a lot of details of every single garment. They are called flats because they are basically like a garment put flat against a paper, and you can see everything there, what has to be designed, what has to be made, and then the pattern maker can take over and start making patterns. Number 3 is the one we will be talking about in this video, which is a hand-drawn croquis sketch. This can be done using also a figure template. Not all designers have time to draw a new model each time they have an idea for a design for the collection. The croquis can be bought. Designer can commission someone to make croquis for them, or they can create their own croquis and then just use it as a template. So this kind of sketch is made to see how the design would look on a body, how the drapes would follow the body shape, and how the design would just look in motion. Those are usually very fast and not polished to perfection sketches, just to get an idea from the head onto the paper before the designer forgets, because that usually happens. They can be used as brainstorming, trying to pair different garments and colors together before finalizing the collection's lineup. And this can also be done before drawing the flats that we spoke before, just to have an idea what we want to make, and then, okay, this is done, I can make a flat, and then it goes to production. And number 4, the last one, which we will also cover a little bit in this video, are fully completed fashion illustrations. Those are mostly for portfolios, for young designers who are trying to get a job in the industry. Those kind of illustrations take a lot of time to complete and can be a work of art on their own. Markers, such as pro markers for example, and watercolors are most frequently used to complete such drawings and can also be drawn digitally. Now, which fashion designers are the best at fashion illustration? Maybe let's start with Karl Lagerfeld, as he was quite good in drawing and he made a lot of drawings in his lifetime, as he spent most of his life being fashion designer. I know not everyone is a fan of Karl, but he played a big role in the fashion illustration world and we should speak about it a little bit. He has a very interesting style, so let's see. Lagerfeld sketched throughout his whole career, producing elegant, recognizable illustrations, often with bold ink lines and watercolor washes. His style was minimalist yet expressive, fast but refined. As you can see in the video, his sketches quite often were completed in just minutes and were considered collector's items actually. In Lagerfeld's early illustration work, so before he joined Chanel in 1983, he had actually quite a tight hand for drawing. His illustrations were characterized by their bold graphic style and attention to detail. Over time, Lagerfeld's hand became looser and less rigid, and therefore was able to capture the movement and the flow of fabrics, often highly stylized with exaggerated proportions and abstracted shapes. Despite their abstract nature, Lagerfeld's illustrations always conveyed a sense of elegance and sophistication. Whether Lagerfeld was illustrating a Chanel jacket or a Fendi dress, he always managed to convey the unique character and style of each piece. Used as promotional materials, often Lagerfeld's illustration helped build anticipation and excitement for each of his upcoming shows and seasons. Sketching was actually a very core part of Lagerfeld's daily work, of his creative process, and it served as a primary mode of communication between himself and his team and his seamstresses. They were so highly trained that they knew to the millimeter which line he meant by his drawing, and that's why his work was so successful, I guess, because he had such a good collaboration with his team. And actually he used quite uncommon media for his sketches, including Tipex and eyeshadow, allowing the designer to better communicate texture and shine. Let me know how you like this kind of style of drawing. Now, since we are talking about big names in fashion, let's jump into Monsieur Dior. Not many people know, but before launching his own fashion house, Dior worked as a fashion illustrator. His illustrations helped land him a job at Lucien Lelong, which eventually led to founding his own label. Christian Dior sold his drawing to millionaires and couture houses including Jean Patou, Schiaparelli, Worth or Balenciaga. He also worked as an illustrator for Le Figaro newspaper and the Jardin du Modes magazine. His illustration designs were often detailed with technical notes, fabric swatches, and precise instructions for the atelier and the design team, emphasizing luxurious fabrics, intricate details, and the use of both hand stitching and classic construction techniques. His style could be described as delicate, feminine, often with pastels or ink. His sketches usually presented an idealized and glamorized version of the clothing, focusing on the final polished look rather than the actual process itself. The drawings focused on the ultra-feminine silhouettes with curved shoulders and a cinched waist, a departure from the angular styles of the war years. As you can see, this is very different from Karl Lagerfeld, but it's very beautiful, and it's important to know. After Dior, we have to speak about Yves Saint Laurent, as he also had a very nice fashion illustration style. Yves Saint Laurent began drawing early on, and his drawings go as far back as the 1951. They depict sets and costumes for the theater and ballet, as you can see on the screen. While the faces of his figures were rarely detailed, the clothes were quite specific, making it possible to almost distinguish the type of fabric that could be used. Just after turning 17, Yves Saint Laurent participated in the competition for drawing, and he won the third prize in the dress category. You can say it was like a very big event in his life, and that's sort of where his career started. Before founding his own house, Saint Laurent was already known for his beautiful sketches at Dior. You can say that his style was romantic, flowing, and very precise, to be honest. His illustrations were often considered poetic and captured the beautiful essence of femininity. Now for a change, let's talk about Albert Elbaz's drawing style. Albert Elbaz was not only a great fashion designer, but also a great illustrator, as he was known for his playful and cartoonish, quite unique style of drawing, which was full of colors and joy. His illustrations frequently appear in a mixed media style. He liked using watercolors, gouache, and ink to create vibrant and detailed images that emphasized fashion, accessories, and also the overall mood of the collections that he was creating. Albert Elbaz was a creative director at Lanvin, from 2001, and he steered the label to a commercial success. He created beautiful, feminine and romantic dresses which made his clients feel confident and very beautiful. He loved to include ruffles and bows in his designs. His illustrations often featured exaggerated proportions with bright bold colors and were used to promote his collections. His illustrations were considered artwork in their own right, as he had like a very special, distinguished style. You can see he put a lot of emphasis on the eyes and on the faces. He also liked to include himself on some of the illustrations, and here is his self-portrait. I actually had a big pleasure of attending a class by Albert Elbaz, and I can confirm he was such a lovely, joyful person, full of knowledge, and his speech to the students was very motivational. So I will always forever remember Albert Elbaz and his amazing style of design, drawing, and his person in general. Next, we will talk about Giorgio Armani and his amazing drawing style. Giorgio Armani began his career producing men's clothing, and his signature soft approach to tailoring reshaped not only the masculine suit but also male stereotypes. Later on, he also launched a women's clothing line, and that's how it all started. Having studied to be a doctor at one point, Armani understood the body and how it moves. He designed clothes that allow free and fluid movement. He also had a great sense of occasion, and his genius was to bring a certain easy confidence to red carpet dressing. That's why so many Hollywood celebrities often chose his creations to be worn on the red carpet. His drawings often had a minimalist and elegant aesthetic, with the emphasis on the silhouette and the drape of the fabric. He used geometric shapes and patterns reflecting an influence from the Art Deco period and a love for the essential character of materials. Specific details like the proportions of a sleeve or the cut of a trouser leg were meticulously studied by Giorgio Armani, and he often presented it as a dissociated element just for it to be highlighted. The drawings reflected his overall design philosophy, which avoided unnecessary ostentation and instead seek to capture the essence of the garment and the wearer. I think Giorgio Armani's sketches are some of the most beautiful and elegant ones, and I can just see them on so many Hollywood celebrities. Now let's change the mood a little bit, and of course I had to include Alexander McQueen in this lineup. Interviewed by Nick Knight, Alexander McQueen revealed that his earliest memory of wanting to design clothes was actually from when he was 3 years old and he lived with his family in a council house, and he recalled outlining a sketch for a dress on an area of a bare wall that had become exposed through the gradual peeling of the wallpaper. So as you can see, from a very young age he knew what he's gonna do for the rest of his life. Unfortunately, very few of his designs, illustrations, sketches survived until today. So these few that I managed to find from his student days and from his professional career are offering a very rare glimpse into the McQueen's design process. Sarah Burton recalled how incredibly fast McQueen was able to sketch, and she would run after him desperately trying to take notes on the drawings as he went along. It was actually the illustration that got him into Central St. Martin's. During an interview process, he was already put in the MA course, skipping the BA altogether because the tutors thought he was incredibly talented thanks to his sketchbook portfolio. So what I found was a collection which included 54 original sketches from his time from Central St. Martin's through the Givenchy years, and someone actually sold this whole file of drawings of Alexander McQueen on a Kerry Taylor auction for £26,000 not so long ago, so someone got really lucky buying these. It must be worth so much more today than what they bought it for. Throughout all the sketches, there is a deft use of medium to describe the various qualities of different fabric. Subtle shifts in texture and weight are articulated through the delicate and precise application of smudging techniques. As you can see, McQueen's sketches were completely different from Giorgio Armani or Karl Lagerfeld. He's mostly using some watercolors and pencil. As you can see, his sketches are for his design team only. They are not supposed to go to the public can only see an outline of what is going to be designed so the team can understand the idea. So as you can see, McQueen was standing out altogether, not only for his extraordinary designs, but also he was quite different when it comes to fashion drawing, croquis from fashion illustration. Let me know what you think of Alexander McQueen drawing style. And then last but not least, let's talk about Christian Lacroix and his extravagant way of drawing. Christian Lacroix studied history of art with plans to become a museum curator or a costume designer, and fell into fashion by chance or by accident, you can say. He was an assistant at Hermes and collaborated with the couturier of the Tokyo Imperial Court before joining the House of Patou in 1981, where he learned the intricacies of haute couture. He went on to launch Christian Lacroix House in 1987 and was appointed artistic director of the Italian fashion house Pucci from 2002 to 2005. Lacroix defined the look of the 1980s, you can say, combining bright colors and extravagant embellishments. He also designed costumes for many stage productions, including a corset for Madonna's 2004 Reinvention World Tour. His passion for theater, opera, and art have provided inspirations for many of his collections. His drawings can be described as whimsical, blending elements from the art history, particularly the Baroque and the Rococo motifs, with bold, vivid colors and a love for an ornate detail. His illustrations often have many details, incorporating a rich sense of layering, and feature influences like Spanish style, folk costumes, and elaborate patterns, making them visually rich and artistic. There is also a deep love for embellishment, whether through drawing, collage, or embroidery. They often have a very playful and imaginative feel, like a fantasy world brought to life. Okay, that was the last designer, and I know we just covered 7, but it's very hard to find original sketches from the designers. They usually don't share these online. They are mostly just in-house or for clients or for the design team. It's not for the public to see, but I did manage to find some. If you would like a continuation of this video and see maybe 7 more, let me know in the comments, so I will make sure I go through the whole internet to find those for you and I will show you. Thank you so much for watching and for your interest in fashion illustration and in fashion design in general. I will see you in the next video. Bye!